And welcome back to the North Star Takes podcast with Bailey Policki and Jacob Liberta. You can find all our videos here on our channel, and feel free to give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram as well, where we are trying to build a good following with Minnesota sports fans and national sports fans as well. Today we're going to be discussing the Minnesota Timberwolves offseason speculation. Nothing much has happened so far with the Timberwolves. They're kind of getting ready for their summer league that'll be starting in a couple weeks here. They're still in on Ben Simmons, according to some reports. They still badly want him. As of now, they're one of 5 teams interested in him. That includes the Raptors, the Cavs, the Pacers, and the Kings, which isn't necessarily an impressive group of teams. So I feel like the Wolves actually have a decent shot at maybe having some trade chips that could actually go to Philadelphia in a deal, or whether it's a 3-team trade. So are you still kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out on the Ben Simmons thing, or where are you standing with that?
I think that's a great way to put it. I think that's exactly where I'm at. I think I got 1 foot in as far as if we can keep our big 3 intact, but still acquire him somehow with whatever other assets we have to use.
Yep.
I'm okay with. But once we have to start parting with, like, let's say a D'Lo or something, then I'm out. I don't want Simmons anymore. If he's our 4th best player, I'm all in. Let's do it. But I'm afraid that the Sixers' asking price might be a little bit too much in a straight 2-team deal. So I think we're going to have to definitely get another team involved to make it happen for Simmons to come here. But I like our chances, like you said. If there's only 5 teams really in it at this point, then I'll see why we couldn't possibly get him. But at the same time, the price has got to be right. So I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't obviously don't want to give up too much to get Ben Simmons. I wouldn't want to trade like D'Lo. Obviously not Cat or Ant. The main issue I have with Ben Simmons is just his contract. He's obviously has a max deal, and he's got 4 years left on that thing. And so that's going to be painful for the Timberwolves to take that on top of the other maxes that they have. Plus, Ant will need a max eventually. Jaden McDaniels, if he develops and doesn't get traded, he'll develop, and he'll need not a max deal, but if he needed a max deal, I guess that'd be a good problem to have. But
we'd have a loaded team.
Yeah,
man.
He'll need to get paid for sure at some point. So I'm more interested in kind of these lower tier guys, like a Miles Turner. I think is just the perfect move the Wolves could make this offseason. We've talked about Cat slimming down, possibly becoming a power forward. Miles Turner would fit right in at the 5 as a great rim protector, rebounder. He can even hit some outside shots. He's kind of added that to his repertoire as well. So they're also rumored to be in on Danilo Gallinari, which doesn't excite me too much. He's kind of getting up there in age.
I'm okay with it, but the problem with him is his health. He never can stay healthy more times than not. So that's giving money to a guy who's going to play half the games. I don't know about that, but I mean, worth exploring.
That is a good point. I mean, he obviously can still shoot. We saw him play good in the NBA playoffs with the Atlanta Hawks. But yeah, he's getting up there in age. His health is a concern. And I just don't really know where he'd fit in on this team. I mean, if you took him, then he'd probably be your 4, which, once again, Cat slimming down doesn't make much sense if he's your 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be an interesting move for sure, and I'm not sure how the fan base would feel about that one. Another interesting name that they've been rumored to be in on in the free agent market is Dougie McBuckets from Creighton. He played a little while with the Chicago Bulls. Pacers, I think, as well, right?
Yep.
So
most recently. Yep.
Yeah, he's been around on a couple teams, but he'd be kind of an interesting signing to add some shooting off the bench.
Yeah, on the surface, it's kind of sounds like a joke, like Doug McDermott, because all you think of is Creighton days. But it's like this guy, if you actually look at his numbers, he averaged 13 a game for the Pacers last year. His 3-point percentage is consistently between 38 and 42% every season, which
fantastic.
Really, you can't ask for much more from a role player like that. So I mean, he could fit in nice to this team, even though everybody's like, oh, come on, Doug McDermott. But, I mean, you really dig into it beyond the surface level, and you find yourself a good role player. So, honestly, I would definitely entertain it. I think he's a lot cheaper than anybody else we've talked about to this point.
Sure.
So, I think that's a more feasible option, more realistic, and could help our team, honestly, win some games. So, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I think the only issue with the Wolves is they're going to have a hard time being able to sign any free agents, really, because they're so tied up against the luxury tax already.
Oh, yep.
And so Gerson Rosas has basically come on the record and said already to, I believe, Darren Doogie Wolfson, some other outlets as well, that we're going to improve our team through trading this offseason. We don't have any draft picks, which he didn't rule out trading into the draft, but I'm not all for trading into the draft unless you can get into the lottery, which is going to be basically impossible, I think. So,
and I feel like we have enough good young players where we don't need to add more young players to our core.
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point. So being able to trade for an established piece, even if it's not a Ben Simmons who's a star in this league, but he's obviously his offensive game has some holes. if you can get a Miles Turner who would just be a solid piece on this team, who wouldn't be expected to do much offensively for sure.
Yeah.
Just come in and protect the rim, play good defense, rebound the ball. Let Cat defend fours so he doesn't get in as much foul trouble.
That's huge.
Down low with the big guys.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of different aspects that Miles Turner could really help this team with, and I think that's very exciting to think about, especially if they're serious about pursuing him. I don't know how serious the Pacers would be about giving him up now that they have Rick Carlisle as their head coach coming from the Mavs, but so that'd be interesting. Some other names that people have kind of floated out there as possibilities include Pascal Siakam from the Raptors. Some people think the Raptors might be trying to blow it up, as well as apparently Cam Reddish might be on the market as well because the Hawks have so many young players that they're going to have to pay. Somebody's going to be the odd man out, and some people think that could be Cam Reddish. So what are your thoughts on going after those two guys?
Honestly, I might be more intrigued to go after those two than Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Because I actually think that they could provide even more of a fit to this team. Like, I know Simmons would be playing a different position that he's played in his whole NBA career, so that might be a little bit of an adjustment, even though I think he can slide into that 4 role well for the Wolves. But at the same time, I feel like guys like Siakam and Reddish might feel a bit more comfortable in that position.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably isn't going to cost you as much as far as trade chips go. So
you wouldn't think so, yeah.
It might be a better option for us, but and they might even be worth the money more so than Simmons with a very deficient offensive game. But I don't know. I think any of them would be enticing options for this team that really misses a solid 4. So I'd really prefer Siakam because he was a big part of a championship team
in
2019 with the Raptors. So I think I'd love to bring that in. But then Reddish, I feel like his potential is probably higher than any of these guys we talked about. So I think that's also interesting. But kind of depends which route you want to go. As far as if you had Reddish, it's just another young player that we're waiting to kind of bloom into form. But I mean, I don't know. Who would you prefer here?
I think I'd go Siakam as well. I think, isn't he on a max deal?
I think so.
Or close to a max deal.
I think so. Yep.
So that's the only issue I'd have with that as well. With him and Ben Simmons, it's kind of pick your poison, I guess. But Siakam's probably a better, well-rounded player in terms of being able to score the ball. He plays good defense. You'd be the 4th option on this team, which he's been at least the 2nd or 1st option on the Raptors over the last several years.
Yep.
So I think that can make things easier on him too. Yeah, like you said, Cam Reddish, it'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun, but getting another young player in here, I think this team's ready to start making advances towards getting into the playoffs, winning a playoff series.
Being real contenders.
Yeah, being actual contenders. And I don't think you're going to do that by just continuing to stockpile these young players. You need to eventually get some veterans in here.
Know how to win.
Yeah, they know how to win. They can help mold these younger guys. Cat and D'Lo are starting to become vets now too, but they need to kind of be shown what it's like to win.
Yeah.
Cat was here for the 1 year with Butler, and obviously they didn't get along. So
D'Lo's only made playoffs once too.
So. Exactly. So it'd be a good experience to get someone like a Miles Turner in here who's played in the playoffs before. Obviously Pascal Siakam, an NBA champion. And even Ben Simmons. He's been in the playoffs basically every year since he's been in the league. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see there. And one last rumor for the Timberwolves here is apparently they're trying to shop Jarrett Culver. All they are expecting to get for him is a 2nd-round pick. I don't know if anyone would be willing to do that or not, but it's just kind of sad to see how far he's fallen.
Yeah, that's not great. Former 6th overall pick just 2 years ago. Yeah, that's not great. That's not what we like to see. So, I mean, flipping him now just for a 2nd-round pick, that hurts. But, sometimes you miss in these NBA drafts, and that's all this looks like right now. He just doesn't quite fit our team. Maybe he'd do a little bit better on some other team where it's just a better fit. But that remains to be seen. Maybe he's just not an NBA player. I don't know. But
yeah, I would personally be happy to get whatever we could for Jarrett Culver and just get his contract off the books, honestly, because he's making, I don't know exactly what he's making, but he's making a few million. I mean, he was a 1st-round pick, number 6 overall, so he's making a decent chunk of change, and if we could clear out that contract, get a pick in return, and then use that money to go sign a possible free agent like a Doug McDermott or something, who knows?
I'll take that, yeah.
So I think that could be a super helpful move because Culver just doesn't seem to have much of a future on this team, the way that the rotation's starting to look, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do here within the next couple of weeks. Got the NBA draft coming up, and then free agency starts a few days after that. So
yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for it. I think this is just a really big offseason for a team looking to get back in the playoffs for the first time now in 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And they've got their upcoming Summer Jam scrimmage that's going to feature a lot of the guys that will be playing in the Summer League. So we're planning on going to that, and we'll try to get some reaction to that as well and see who's looking good, who's not. Maybe Leandro Balmero will be there.
let's hope.
So that'll be another wrinkle to throw in as well. So this Wolves team is starting to become interesting, and I think people are going to be talking about the Timberwolves here for a while because if they can start making some noise, like you've said before, this is a basketball town.
Yes.
This is a basketball state. It's kind of a sleeping giant. They just need the team to be good, and I think there will be a lot of interest.
People will show. I promise you that. Honestly, you saw a little bit of it in 2017-18.
For sure,
that
yeah.
season when they started to win games and like they sold out the Target Center for like 10, 15 games in a row. So,
Yep.
I mean, people are going to come out if it's good. They just have to put a good product on the floor, and I feel like we're finally taking good steps towards that.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what they do. The NBA offseason is obviously always very exciting. So, it'll be fun to see the Timberwolves get in on some of that action. But
I know, right?
that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to like our videos and stay tuned for more content by subscribing to our channel. Feel free to give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram as well, and comment below what you think the Timberwolves might do with their offseason here and who you'd like them to go after.